Shalom Yashala, meaning peace be unto the nation of Israel, whom are your modern day so-called Negroes, Latinos, Native American Indians, and speckled Israelites, whom are of the Israelite foreigners scattered across the four corners of the earth, mainly within America, whom are also of the Most High Yahweh's chosen people of the nation of Israel. And without further ado, as always, just want to give all praises, glory, and infinite honor to my power, Yahweh, Bahashem, Hamashiach, Yahweh Shai, Baharachak Wadash, meaning all praises to the Heavenly Father, Yahweh, in the name of His only begotten and anointed Son, Yahweh Shai, and the Holy Spirit, whom is of our strength and our Redeemer and our light and our salvation. All right. And with that, Mashana Kabawadium Lahasaquanium, Shal Gadabaraka, meaning double honors to the apostles and elders of Great Millstone, the true shepherds of Yash Allah, which is Israel, pushing the sound doctrine of faith, truth, and sincerity. And Shalawam, honors and salutations to Bayasha Dawada, meaning the house of David, representing the elect of Israel, including the 144,000 governing body and the rest of the 1/3 elect men, women, and children of Israel. All right, and this is your fellow servant Malak Rayab, back at it again with another World War III algorithm update. All right, dealing with these ceasefires, all right, between the Israelis and the Palestinians, all right, Operation Cast Lead, all right, in which Operation Cast Lead is of the further origin or of the furtherance of the secular history of the the conflict between the Israelis and the Israeli government and the Palestinians. All right, and also algorithmic ties, between the U.S. regime and the Israeli government and their constituents, man. Ultimately tearing down the strongholds and stumbling blocks of the wicked. All right, ultimately this Edomite Confederacy and their constituents and allies, man. All right, in order to further exalt, worship, praise, and magnify, glorify the Almighty, everlasting, perfect, holy name of Yahweh by Shem Meshai, as well as to further edify and exhort the elect who may come across this video, Lord willing, and condemn the wicked. All right, so I'm going to start off with this headline, dealing with the supposed ceasefire, the supposed ceasefires between the Israeli government and Palestinians, and how history has repeated itself in regards to them actually going back on those ceasefires, man. All right, and how it further exposes the nature of these devils, man. Okay, so it says here on U.S. Today, Israel unleashes airstrikes after vowing to press on in Gaza. Truce expectations rise. So despite the whole potential truce, between the Israeli government and Palestinians that Jim Crow Joe had announced on Thursday, on that night, Thursday night, the Israeli government proceeded to attack the Gaza Strip, man. Okay, so it says here, Israel unleashed another wave of airstrikes across the Gaza Strip early Thursday, killing at least one Palestinian and wounding several. And Hamas fired more rockets even as expectations rose that a ceasefire could be reached. Prime Minister Benjamin Netanyahu has pushed back against calls from the U.S. to wind down the Gaza offensive, appearing determined to inflict maximum damage on Hamas in a war that could help save his political career. Okay, because Netanyahu failed to form that political coalition government. All right, and that has further compromised the sovereign plot of the Israeli government, to carry forth their agenda, regarding the aspect of this one world, this global hegemony through the satanic New World Order agenda. All right, so this was perfect timing. That's why there's an article that came out. There was a report rather that came out. I'm saying I'm about to bring out this article. All right. Salakia. Just bear with me one moment, Baba Kasha. All right, his phone moving kind of slow. All right, so it says here on the WashingtonPost.com, Salakia, it says, power up, Biden administration approves $735 million weapons sale to Israel, raising red flags for some House Democrats because they support the Israeli government onslaught of the Palestinians, regarding an idea of so-called ethnic cleansing, and that's the idea of Edomite supremacy. okay, regarding Esau Edom's God complex through his so-called white supremacist agenda. All right, and that's to oppose all and that's to contend with all rather that opposes his agenda. Okay, and that's the real reason why they have such an onslaught going on over there in the Middle East and have been for centuries, man. All right, even decades as of recently, going back to the 1967 Six-Day War between them surrounding Arab nations and the Israeli government. Okay, then you had Operation Cast Lead, dealing with the ongoing conflict. All right, in 2008 to 2009. All right, in the beginning of Obama's administration, where you had the ongoing conflict between the Israeli government and Palestinians. Then dealing with tunnel attacks and whatnot. So I'm about to go ahead and get into that. For algorithmic purposes, man. Further tying into the whole intention of this satanic New World Order agenda, man. All right. So it says here. The Biden administration has approved the sale of $735 million in precision-guided weapons to Israel, raising red flags for some House Democrats who are a part of the shifting debate over the U.S. government's support for the Israeli government of Prime Minister Benjamin Netanyahu. So jump you down here. It says the Biden administration initially avoided calling for an immediate ceasefire and has said that Israel has the right to defend itself against Hamas, a position that a majority in Congress has previously supported. But a new generation of House Democrats more open to questioning Washington's support of Netanyahu is raising some concerns. Some lawmakers want to know more about the new proposed sale and its timing. You see that? Suggesting it be used as leverage. You see? It says in the past week, the Israeli military strikes have killed many civilians and destroyed the building that housed the Associated Press, an American company reporting on the facts in Gaza. A Democratic lawmaker on the House Foreign Affairs Committee told us. Now, after the supposed truce that they say transpired yesterday, leading up until this morning, Saturday morning, they're saying that the death toll as a result of this 11-day onslaught between the Israeli government and the Palestinians has resulted in at least 250 casualties, including 66 children. Okay, and this report here, dealing with the algorithmic ties between the U.S. and the Israeli government and their constituents, all right, of this Edomite Confederacy and other nations. And, further confirms Jim Crow Joe's support on behalf of the Biden administration, okay, representing America, of the Israeli government's onslaught on the Palestinians, man, which is once again dealing with, quote unquote, the idea of ethnic cleansing, okay, which is really so-called white supremacy, man. Okay, and using that using that ideology to justify their war crimes, all right, against them Ishmaelites down there, man, because there's a violation of international law, on behalf of different human rights organizations such as the Amnesty National and the Human Rights Watch. Further, pointing out that the Israeli government has been purposely targeting civilian infrastructure, man, which are war crimes, okay? Regarding international law or violations of international law, okay? So that further confirms what? That these devils are, they're the epitome of wickedness, man. That's why it says in 2 Thessalonians, the 2nd chapter, that he is a man of sin and son of perdition, Esau Edom, whose blessing is a sword that he prophesied to use to obtain the fatness of the land, prophesied in Genesis the 27th chapter, around the 41st verse, and that's how he has been further identified, who he is, but pursuing the biblical prophecy, man. All right. So it says here, allowing this proposed sale of smart bombs to go through without putting pressure on Israel to agree to a ceasefire will only enable further carnage. You see? So this whole ceasefire situation is a smokescreen. What further confirms that? Secular history. Okay? Let's go ahead and get that. Okay. Now this is on an article, TheGuardian.com. It says Gaza truce broken as Israeli raid kills 6 Hamas gunmen. It says a 4-month ceasefire between Israel and Palestinian militants in Gaza was in jeopardy today after Israeli troops killed 6 Hamas gunmen in a raid into the territory. Now, this was reported 12 years ago on November 5th, 2008. All right. around the time of the election of Obama. That's why in 2009 and moving forth into the early 2000s, the Obama administration was responsible for contributing towards the construction of the Iron Dome down there in the land of Israel. Okay, in which they've been using our tax-paying dollars, in which they've been using the tax-paying dollars of the wages they've been garnishing from us to further contribute to the mayhem, you know what I'm saying, the carnal mayhem they've been responsible for down there in Israel, man. Okay, and these different politicians, such as these congresswomen, AOC, Omar, and a few other ones, you know, have been calling these devils out for the wickedness, man. Okay, so so having all this been said, they have a record of truce breaking. Okay, like it says in Psalm 55 and 20. All right, matter of fact, I'm going to bring that out. All right, Psalm chapter 55, verse 20. All right, Psalm chapter 55, verse 20. And it reads, He hath put forth his hands against such as be at peace with him. He hath broken his covenant. Okay, another word for covenant is truce or treaty. Okay, all right. And he has a record of breaking these truces or treaties, man. Okay, so such as the whole effect of the Spanish Inquisition, where they were making treaties in the 1700s to 1800s with the Gadites, the so-called North American Indians from the tribe of Gad, and they were breaking every single one of them, man. Okay, you know what I'm saying? That's why in Nahum the 3rd chapter says, "Woe to the bloody city that was established by iniquity." Okay, like it also says in Habakkuk 2 and 12. Okay, roughly paraphrasing. I believe Habakkuk 2 and 12 actually says that, but Nahum 3 and 1 is is a similar precept, and there's another reason why they this Edomite Confederacy, reneged from the they reneged and rescinded from the 2015 Iran nuclear deal, man. Okay, which Iran mutually agreed to it, but they pulled out of it. The Edomites pulled out of it, man. Okay, you know what I'm saying? Same thing with this situation, dealing with the history of the ceasefires, man. Now all of a sudden it's a ceasefire when Jim Crow Joe Biden on Thursday said or claimed that Netanyahu had agreed, the Israeli government in this case had agreed to the ceasefire, but then on that same day, shortly after that his speech, their constituent, the Israeli government, the top constituent of the EU, the Israeli government, continued to attack them Ishmaelites down there within the Gaza Strip, man. Attacking Hamas. Okay, you know what I'm saying? So now you take a trip down memory lane and you observe their track record, man, dealing with secular history, and you see they've been known to break treaties. They've been known to go against their covenant, break their covenants, man. Okay, because this is the nature of the so-called white man. Okay, to be a conniving, subtle, manipulative, deceptive devil. Okay, which means deceiver. Okay, and that's why in Job 14:4 it says, who can make an unclean? That further goes into why in Job 14:4 it says, who can make an unclean thing clean? Okay, because wickedness, iniquity, which is sin. All right, sin upon sin, wickedness is uncleanness. Okay, that's considered uncleanness according to the scriptures, man. Hence why in Revelation 18 chapter says, it mentions in Revelation 18:3 of these unclean spirits of Babylon the Great, which is going to cause her demise, man, her desolation, which is America, Babylon the Great, that great land of confusion. Okay. All right, because everything about this rulership is predicated off of iniquity, man. Okay, the covetousness, lasciviousness, greed, pride. Okay. All right, usury. You see, so this place is that's why this place is considered a bloody city, man. Okay, and then they're looking to and that's why they're further looking to come down with great wrath, because they know that they have but a short time to fulfill their satanic new world order agenda, man. All right, which entails collapsing these global economies, including America's, and suspend these governments, rendering lawless societies, mainly within America, so they can institute, and these orchestrated laws prophesied in Psalm 94 and 20 other precepts, dealing with their Hegelian dialectic and their order ab chaos theory, man. all right, to create the problem, present the solution, all right, to sustain order. That's why there's so much disorderly confusion, all right, and destruction happening down there in the land of Israel, okay, where they're saying they're claiming, in case in point, with the whole ceasefire situation, that the Israeli government supposedly agreed to a ceasefire on Thursday, but now all of a sudden it barely went into effect yesterday. You see, so they could further provoke those targeted nations, you know what I'm saying, into this full-fledged warfare, man. All right, this last world's war, Harmageddon in Revelation, the 16th chapter. Okay, this is the track record of the so-called white man. So I'm gonna go ahead and get Obadiah. I'm gonna start from the top. It says, a vision of Obadiah. Thus said the Lord Yahweh concerning Edom. We have heard a rumor from the Lord Yahweh, and an ambassador sent among the heathen. Arise ye, and let us arise up against her in battle. Behold, I have made thee small among the heathen. Thou art greatly despised. So the nation of Edom, the self-proclaimed Caucasian race, is the lowest of all heathen nations, man. Vile and profane in nature. Okay, that caveman, you know, saying, further, you know, I'm saying, exhibiting that caveman-like behavior, man. That animalistic, brutish behavior, man. Okay, that survival of the fittest behavior, where they just take and they take without any remorse, man. Okay, including the lives of children. And then they have the audacity to justify like that damn demon Edomite Elizabeth Warren, okay, you know, supporting the onslaught against them Ishmaelites down there, all right, within the Gaza Strip, okay, you know, because politics is a major component of their power structure, man. You know what I'm saying? That's why it says in Daniel 8:25 that their politics is of witchcraft, okay, roughly paraphrasing. Okay, that's why in Isaiah 10:2 says, they roughly paraphrasing, they seek out to destroy the poor with lying words. Okay, using these same devices, politics. Okay, they're westernized media and propaganda. All right, all orchestrating. All right, their algorithm, man. Okay, you know, which simply means step by step. These step-by-step calculations, man. These step-by-step calculated solutions, rather. Okay, dealing with their agenda. Okay, all right. So that's why they're greatly despised, because this agenda entails destroying all those who opposes their agenda. So there is no integrity in that mindset. There is no morality in that mindset. Okay, there is no camaraderie within that mindset. You know, so his whole image is a farce, man. You know, regarding the theme of America, for example, being liberty and justice for all. He's not carrying out what he proposes to the world, because he is of the congregation of hypocrites, man. Like it says in Job chapter 15, verse 34 to 35. Okay, and that's why his empire is going to be destroyed. All right, because this place is his empire is unrighteous, man. All right, which is why he's greatly despised, because he is persecuting the nations with great anger, like it says in Isaiah 14:6, with his blessing the sword. Okay, so it's Obadiah 1:3. The pride of thine heart hath deceived thee, thou that dwellest in the clefts of the rock, whose habitation is high, that saith in his heart, who shall bring me down to the ground? Okay, you see, this is his proclamation to the world. Who can oppose us? Who can come against our 6 branches of the military and our constituents, including the Israeli government and EU? All right, including NATO. For whichever NATO allies will remain with this devil, okay? Because this devil is so wicked that his own allies are going to turn against him, like it's prophesied in Revelation 17:16, okay? You know, so he is greatly despised because of his nature. All right, Obadiah 1:4. Though thou exalt thyself as the eagle, and though thou set thy nest among the stars, thence will I bring thee down, saith the Lord Yahweh. If these came to thee, if robbers by night, and by the way. And the eagle is a symbol of America, which goes back to the symbol of the pagan Greco Holy Roman Empire, going back to Egypt, which Egypt means bondage, man. Okay, that's why in the back of the dollar bill, all right, they have Egyptian symbolism, you know, which is symbolic of bondage. Okay, and that's why they mock the bondage of the captives of Israel, because they know who we are. They know that we are the real lost tribes of Israel. Okay, so the whole stunt on behalf of Netanyahu, dealing with his whole, political campaign being compromised, and him carrying out a timely orchestrated attack against Gaza, further goes into the idea of them, being, considered as supreme on the earth. And that's why that further goes into why they continue to perpetrate the fraud that they're the Lord's chosen people, man. When it's in Revelation 2 and 9, Revelation 3 and 9, Wisdom of Solomon, the second chapter, and other precepts, it says otherwise, man. That they're the devil the Bible speaks of, man. Okay? Using the idea of the Most High to teach the precepts of men. Okay? The laws of the land and the laws of men. Okay? So it says, Obadiah 1 and 5, if these came to thee, if robbers by night, how art thou cut off? Would they not have stolen till they had enough? Because these devils, they like it says in Sirach 12 and 16, okay, they would not be at all satisfied with blood. Okay, they can't have enough, man. They already have the gold, the gold reserves and their banking vaults and whatnot. They stole from our ancestors. Okay, you know what I'm saying, including the Northern Kingdom, specifically, in America. Dealing with the tribe of Ephraim, the so-called Puerto Ricans. Which Puerto Rican means Puerto riches. You see, because they know who we are. Like it says in Joel, the third chapter, we are the true treasures, the true gold of the Lord. Okay, his pleasant things that they stole. Okay, and held as captives. Okay, refusing to let us go. We're seeing that Jeremiah 15:33. So they could continue to perpetrate the fraud that they're the Lord's chosen people, but they're being exposed, man. Okay, infrastructurally, geopolitically and politically, economically, militarily. They're being exposed in every aspect of their rulership. Okay, including their international war crimes. All right, and other facets of wickedness that's further exposing their true nature prophesied in the scriptures, man. Or Obadiah 1 and 5. If these came to thee, if robbers by night, how art thou cut off? Would they not have stolen till they had enough? If the grape gatherers came to thee, would they not leave some grapes? Okay. Case in point, they garnish our wages regarding our taxes, and then further contributed towards international war crimes to further justify their stance that the God's chosen people on the earth, that they're the righteous of the earth. Okay, like it says in St. John 10 and 10, the thief came to steal, murder, and destroy. Okay, and that's the sentiment of the self-proclaimed white man. Okay, further exposing his true carnal nature, man. All right, Obadiah verse 6. How are the things of Esau searched out? How are his hidden things sought up? Like it says in Jeremiah 49 and 10, other precepts, man. Isaiah the 47th chapter. He's being sought out and revealed. Okay, as the devil the Bible speaks of, the deceiver the scriptures speak about, man. Verse 7. All the men of thy confederacy have brought thee even to the border. The men that were at peace with thee have deceived thee and prevailed against thee. They that eat thy bread have laid a wound under thee. There is none understanding in him. You see, because he leans on his own understanding regarding his sensual, devilish, worldly wisdom. Okay, which that perception of wisdom is foolishness to the Most High, and that's why he's not with this he's not with this world that was given to the hands of the wicked. Pursuing Job 9:24, because they get it how they live on the left hand side, man. All right, they don't govern their lives through the Holy Scriptures, man, and that's why so like their laws of the land are contrary to the laws of the Lord. You know what I'm saying? Like the whole situation, the whole alphabet situation going back to 2015, 2016 under the Obama administration, where they legalized sodomy all over the the land of Babylon. Okay, when it says in the scriptures, how you're supposed to handle those who indulge in sodomy. You see, they in other aspects of their laws. You see, their laws of the land are contrary to the laws, statute, commandments of Yahweh by Shem Shai. And that's why he's not with this place. That's why he continues to visit this world, through plagues, okay, through the chariots, okay, through the prophecies that is, that he speaks through his prophets, man, okay. And that's why, speaking of chariots, the Pentagon had to finally come out and admit the existence of chariots, because there's so many sightings of these chariots they can no longer ignore them. And they've been ignoring these chariot sightings, which they declassified as UFOs, because that would open up a can of worm on the true existence of these vehicles, man, and that they are angelic vehicles of Yahweh by Shem Shai. So having all that's been said, okay, this devil's world is coming crashing down on him, man. Okay, and this whole World War III algorithm, is a furtherance, of his preparation to come down with great wrath, prophesied in Revelation 12 and 12, because he knows that the time is ticking. He doesn't have very much time left. We're almost in June. We're almost halfway through the year. Okay, so these years are going by like weeks. It seems like, man. You see, because the Lord is speeding up the times for the sake of His elect, pursuant to Saint Matthew the 24th chapter. Okay, so I'm going to go ahead and continue. All right, some more information. All right, filter through so like filter through biblical prophecy. I'm gonna go ahead and get Psalm chapter 94, verse 20. All right, it says, "Shall the throne of iniquity have fellowship with thee, which frameth mischief by a law?" All right, the throne of iniquity is wicked central bankers, man. All right, you know what I'm saying, that carries out these these variations of their rulership. All right, you know what I'm saying, through politics, through the media. All right, through the military. Okay, they can, to further control the narratives, man. All right, you know what I'm saying, imposing these laws, all right, of hypocrisy. You know what I'm saying, these one-sided hypocritical laws to justify the vibration, the wicked vibration of their rulership. Case in point, they continue to frame mischief by laws, man, and moral decrees and policies, man, prophesied in the scriptures, man. All right, to go ahead and further expound on that. All right, like it says here. All right, they have a history of truce breaking. Okay, so to expound on this. All right, I'm going to go ahead and get some history on the Operation Cast Lead. All right, dealing with the Gaza War in 2008 to 2009. So it says the Gaza War, also known as Operation Cast Lead, all right, also known as the Gaza Massacre, was a 3-week armed conflict between Gaza Strip Palestinian paramilitary groups and the Israel Defense Forces that began on December 27th, 2008, and ended on January 18th, 2009 with on a lateral ceasefire. You see that? You see, so that goes into that article that I brought out here, where I mentioned how they had a ceasefire. Okay, they had the ceasefire back then in 2008, 2009, dealing with this Operation Cast Lead situation of the Gaza War. Okay, now, oddly enough, they have another situation, all right, with Gaza, where they have supposedly agreed to a ceasefire, and even if they did, the damage is already done. You know what I'm saying, resulting in at least 250 casualties and 66 dead children. Okay, so it says, it says, Israeli troops crossed into the Gaza Strip late last night near the town of Deir al-Balah. The Israeli military said the target of the raid was a tunnel that they said Hamas was planning to use to capture Israeli soldiers positioned on the border fence 250 meters away. 4 Israeli soldiers were injured in the operation, 2 moderately and 2 lightly, the military said. Okay. Now, to further dive into this information, all right, go back to the article here. Says, the Gaza War, aka Operation Cast Lead, all right, was that armed conflict between, the Ishmaelites in Palestine, all right, and the Israeli, the IDF forces of Amalek, all right, from December 27th of 2008 to January 18th of 2009, that resulted in 1,166 to 1,417 dead Palestinians and only 13 Israeli deaths. So you see how secular history, further points out the lopsided death toll on both sides of the spectrum, dealing with this conflict between these two nations, man. Okay, because because it further confirms who is the actual perpetrator. Okay, and who is at the tail end of these perpetual attacks. All right, because it's prophesied that he would live by his sword, Esau Edom. Okay, it's jumping down here. It says the Israeli government's stated goal was to stop indiscriminate Palestinian rocket fire into Israel and weapons smuggling into the Gaza Strip. Hamas stated its rocket fire, which resumed in November 2008, was in response to an Israeli raid of a tunnel lead from Gaza, which it characterized as a ceasefire violation. All right, now, their whole stance of these tunnel invasions to further justify battling, Palestinian contention, with the Israeli government, is to further proclaim to the public that they're on defense, that the Israeli government's on defense, as if these tunnels are the issue, or as if them being on defense is the issue, when they're actually perpetrating these offensive attacks. Because case in point, invading these tunnels, these Gaza tunnels, is actually unavoidable, or in this case it's unnecessary rather. For the fact that there were moats that were built around the Gaza border, okay, which are basically forts with bodies of water on them to prevent attacks. So they wouldn't need to invade these they would need to invade tunnels and whatnot, okay, because that would go against the invention of those moats, okay. They were built to prevent those attacks in the first place. You see, so that further exposes their agenda, man, and how they want to wipe out those people, man, and they're using politics and other means of their agenda to justify their wickedness, okay. And that's another reason why the Israeli government commanded for the so-called Black Hebrew Israelites to vacate the land, the Holy Land of Israel, okay, when that's their land, but they're not supposed to be there anyway, okay. They're not supposed to be there right now because the Lord is prophesied to take the nation of Israel back to the Holy Land of Jerusalem, of Israel, okay. And them Ishmaelites and Palestine, them Israelis and Palestinians being over there, okay, is a further fulfillment of St. Luke the 21st chapter, how the Holy Land would be inhabited by Gentiles, man, until the Lord, until the times of the Gentiles be fulfilled, okay, and that time be fulfilled, all right, pursuing Habakkuk 2 and 3, this is the point of time for these last few prophecies come to pass, man, all right, including the charagma, okay, and the microchip, okay. Including this last World's War, dealing with the subject of this video, Harmageddon in Revelation, the 16th chapter, all right, these other plagues, all right, and the sword, including martial law, okay, and civil domestic warfare that's going to, result in America and the state of Israel to be made desolate, man, in other parts of the world, all right, because the earth was given to the hands of the wicked, man, all right. So going back to the article here, it says, It says the international community considers indiscriminate attacks on civilians and civilian structures that do not discriminate between civilians and military targets as illegal under international law. Okay. Now, the ironic thing about that is, once again, it had already been brought out that the human rights organizations such as Amnesty International, Human Rights Watch have further pointed out that it's the Israeli government that's violating international law by purposely targeting civilian infrastructure, all right, resulting in a multitude of dead children and women, man. You see? So going back to Psalm 94 and 20, okay? Psalm 94 and 20, shall the throne of iniquity have fellowship with thee, which frameth mischief by a law? You see? So they have the power in their hands, pursuing the Psalm 50th chapter, to weigh the violence of their hands in earth by way of their sword, the blessing, okay? Which is their blessing. Okay, so that's exactly what Fred identifies who the devil the Bible speaks of is, man. All right, in these last days, which always has been this devil. Okay, which is becoming that much more evident in these last days, man. And that's why they hate those who rebuke them in the gate. Okay, so case in point here, it says. The indiscriminate launching of rockets from Hamas and other groups towards civilians is unacceptable, but yet they're doing it. You see the hypocrisy, all right, and the deception. It's further exposing their true nature, man, their true wicked nature, man. While recognizing a legitimate need to protect the civilian population, response needs to be proportionate and with maximum restraint and use of force. Okay, they're not exercising maximum restraint. They're actually exercising the exact opposite. And that's maximum excessive force. Okay? You know what I'm saying? Which is why a further result of that was a supposed ceasefire on behalf of top ally of the Israeli government being the U.S. through Jim Crow Joe, supposedly, proclaiming that Netanyahu or the Israeli government has supposedly agreed to the ceasefire, but then they carried out they reneged on the deal. If they, if they did make it, if they did agree to that ceasefire. But going back to the history of of these ceasefires, going back to the Gaza war, exploring other timelines of secular history, further exposing the true nature of this devil. He's always been known as a covenant breaker. Dealing with the the whole 2015 Iran nuclear deal that they pulled out of. You see, so they've been known to be truce breakers, so they cannot be trusted, man. That's why these other nations are starting to further despise this devil and further defy his brightness, like it says in Ezekiel the 28th chapter. Okay. So going back to this article, Israel unleashes airstrikes after vowing to press on in Gaza. Truce expectations rise. Okay. Prime Minister Benjamin Netanyahu has pushed back against calls from the U.S. to wind down the Gaza offensive, appearing determined to inflict maximum damage on Hamas in a war that could help save his political career. Still, officials close to the negotiations say they expect a truce to be announced in the next 24 hours. Another possible sign of progress, Netanyahu scheduled a meeting later Thursday with the Security Cabinet where the issue of a ceasefire is likely to be debated. Okay. So that's why here, Russia, on this article on Newsweek, says Russia warns Israel it won't tolerate more civilian casualties in Gaza conflict. Now, why are they getting involved? Because Ezekiel the 28th chapter is like you. Ezekiel the 38th chapter is further coming to pass, where the top Russian ally, Iran, had agreed to support Hamas in a war against Israel. Okay, and it's prophesied in Ezekiel the 30th chapter that Magog, modern day Magog, which is Russia, would be in alliance with Persia, modern day Persia, which is Iran. Okay, along with Gomer, which is Turkey. Okay, and other nations. Okay, that support their mutual sovereign vision, which is ultimately to destroy their common enemy. That's compromising their sovereign visions, and that's America, Babylon the Great. And their top constituents, man, including the Israeli government. Okay? So it says, amid an international pressure, Israel has refused to back down from the conflict with Hamas. Meanwhile, Russia has warned the Jewish state of engaging in further violence that costs civilians lives. As reported by the Associated Press, as of Wednesday, about 219 Palestinians have been killed in the current fighting, while Israel has seen only 12 casualties. You see? These other nations getting tired of these devils, man. That's why in Joel the 3rd chapter it says, let the weak say I'm strong. They're preparing for warfare against this devil. That's why here in this article on the Hill is entitled Iran's Khamenei calls on other nations to provide military or financial support to Gaza Strip. You see? So they're supporting, like it says in 2 Corinthians, 2 Ezra the 15th chapter, about the dragons of Arabia, rising up. Matter of fact, let me get that precept real quick. All right, 2 Ezra the 15th chapter. All right, Salakia. Give me 1 second, Baba Kashah. All right, 2 Ezra, chapter 15. Let's see where it's at. All right, 2 Ezra 15 and 29, where the nations of the dragons of Arabia shall come out with many chariots, and a multitude of them shall be carried as the wind upon earth, that all they which hear them may fear and tremble. Because they're going to be fearing and trembling them because that great tumultuous noise is going to be heard in the midst of this last world's war, prophesied in Isaiah the 13th chapter. Okay, where it says in Isaiah 9 and 5 how this last world's war is not going to be in the traditional sense of confused noise, but rather a war of fire. Okay, matter of fact, Salaki, let me get that. Before I do, we continue here in 2 Ezra 15 and 30. Also, the Carmanians raging in wrath shall go forth as the wild boars of the wood, and with great power shall they come and join battle with them, and shall waste a portion of the land of the Assyrians. All right, so it's this, but the modern day land of the Assyrians is America, Babylon the Great, and the Israeli and the state of Israel is going to be destroyed. That whole landmass is gonna be destroyed because it's defiled by the Gentiles, man. All right. And then shall the dragons have the upper hand, remembering their nature. Okay, because Ishmael's nature is being a wild man, the so-called Arab. Okay, and if they shall turn themselves, conspiring together in great power to persecute them, then these shall be troubled and keep silence through their power and shall flee. You see, so these devils and their constituents going to be in for a rude awakening, man. Okay, because these 200 million thermonuclear detonators, okay, all right, are going to leave a path of destruction through the destroying wind prophesied in Jeremiah the 51st chapter, man. So it's Isaiah 9 and 5. And it reads, for every bout of the warriors with confused noise and garments rolled in blood, but this shall be with burning and fuel of fire. Okay, it can be a battle of fire, man. Okay, of a projected 1,000,000 degrees, man. Okay, of thermonuclear fire and radiation. Going to sweep by this place and leave it desolate, especially upon those who takes the charagma, man, the microchip. Okay, so that's pretty much that on the articles. Go ahead and end it off with a few more pre's. We get Isaiah chapter 14 verse 6, and it reads, he who smote the people in wrath with a continuous stroke, he that ruled the nations in anger, is persecuted, and none hindereth. So this devil is persecuting the people with continuous strokes, man. All right, through his sword. Okay, you're persecuting these nations, with a continuous stroke by way of his sword, man. Ruling these nations, all right, with that great anger, persecuting them. Okay, where none hindereth. Okay, so and there's no hindrance of the onslaught of these devils, man, resulting in massive casualties, man, including children. Okay, and they support it. You see, I'm going back to this article here. All right, with a sleepy, creepy Jim Crow Joe co-signing this wickedness. Okay, because the nature of Esau Edom is being further exposed, man. Okay, Salakia. All right, so it says here, Biden administration, Salakia, says Biden administration approved $735 million weapons sales to Israel, raising red flags for some House Democrats, and those red flags are raised because it's being further, it's being further speculated that they support this carnal carnage, all right, to under the idea of quote unquote ethnic cleansing of the Palestinians from that land. Okay, to further perpetrate the fraud of their chosen people, like it says in 2 Thessalonians 2 and 4. Okay, how they would sit on the prestigious seat of rulership, claiming it to be righteous, to say that they are God on earth. And that's that blasphemy that's going to get them destroyed, man. Like it says in Ezekiel, the 35th chapter. Okay, so I'm going to go ahead and end this off in Joel chapter 3. All right, starting in verse 9, it says, proclaiming this among the Gentiles, prepare war, wake up the mighty men, let all the men of war draw near, let them come up. Beat your plowshares into swords and your pruning hooks into spears. Let the weak say, I'm strong. Assemble yourselves and come, all ye heathen, and gather yourselves together round about. Thither cause thy mighty ones to come down, O Yahweh. Let the heathen be wakened and come up to the valley of Yahweh, for there will I sit to judge all the heathen round about. All right, and that's in the Middle East. All right, around the Persian Gulf. Okay, around the Euphrates River. Okay, which that war is going to take place. All right, in that around that landmass. All right, including the Mediterranean Sea. Okay, which is why in Amos, the first chapter, speaks about that in Amos 1 and 9, man. Okay, when you look up Tyre and dealing with the area around the Mediterranean Sea, man. Okay, and that's where this last world's war is prophesied to take place, man. Okay, all right, including the U.S. and their top EU constituent, the Israeli government, and their constituents, man. All right, of this Edomite Confederacy and their other allies, they're gonna fight against their opposition, man, or against their adversaries, man. All right, fight, jockeying over sovereignty. Okay, so this war is being prepared on all fronts, politically speaking, geopolitically speaking, infrastructurally speaking, economically speaking, regarding military funding of these weapons. You see, what I'm saying, and dealing with the whole realm of politics, they're using, to further justify their agenda, but it's being further exposed, man, regarding the wicked, malicious intention, and that's to remove peace from the earth that much more further, man, because that's what he was created to do. You know what I'm saying? Pursuing Revelation 6 and 4, man. All right. So now he's being further exposed, and these algorithmic ties between, you know what I'm saying, these top constituents, this Edomite Confederacy, is going to lead to great desolation on this earth, man. And it's gonna catch those who sleep off guard, man. All right, like it says in scripture, let us not sleep as others do. Okay, because the Lord is coming back like a thief in the night, man, and he's warning us through the prophecies to repent for those whose names are written in the book, man, of the nation of Israel. All right, because there's gonna be a great slaughter. You know what I'm saying? Prepare for the fowls of the air, prophesied in Revelation, the 19th chapter, man. Because this place is finished. The Lord's about to pull a plug on this society that they call America, Babylon the Great. So I have knowledge been said, call Halayim Yahweh, Bahashim, Yahushai, Baharachak Wadash. Forgive me the spirit of this video, which I pray is further edifying, exhorting to elect of Israel, and condemning to the wicked. All right, with that, Abad Ball, DTA, Kwam Yash Allah, Rise Israel, Shalom to elect, and on to the next one.